Chapter 1498. Why else would I come? He smiled and moved his hand away from her head. Just this sentence was enough to make sure Nianj blush and her heart warm. She felt as though she was about to melt by his side. She had never joked about love, and she could tell that Qin's sighting was not the kind of person who would joke about such things. His gaze just now was clearly focused on her. Because she missed him, he came. If she hadn't said that she missed him, why would he have come? After everyone left the KTV, Qin's sighting sent her to the taxi. Before he closed the door, her heart was still burning. She quickly raised her head to look at him. Qin's sighting had just picked up a call. Although he had hung up, she heard his phone vibrating in his pocket, but he did not pick it up. She was still looking at him, her eyes bright. Qin's sighting told the driver the address of Lishui Villa and then glanced at her. Go back. Be careful. She nodded. For some reason, she suddenly recalled that Uncle Qin had said that the 4 big families in High City seemed to be the investors of Lishui Villa. She wondered if the Qin family had any shares. If he wanted to buy a villa in Lishui Villa, it should be easy. The villa opposite her had always been empty. If he could live in it, it would be great if they could go to school together and go home together every day. Of course, it was just a thought. Earlier in the KTV, because Qin's sighting was here, Jin Shui and the others suddenly became much gentler and quieter. They did not speak much, but they still wanted to show off. They ordered a few more songs. Hao Xiuxia and the others also ran out to join in the fun, causing the private room to be noisy. After a while, they came to pull Shi Nianj over to play with them. Qin's sighting only sat by the side and watched them. He did not participate in anything. It was obvious that he was very tired today, so no one dared to force him. Therefore, they did not chat much after that. Now, she was going home. She was unwilling. She wanted to get out of the car to chat with him for a while before going back. But when she heard that the phone in his pocket was still vibrating, she did not say much. She only waved at him in the car. See you tomorrow, Qin sighting. He smiled and helped her close the car door. At noon the next day, Zhao Xiaoqing had a stomachache because of her period. Shi Nianj went to the school supermarket to help her buy a heat pack. In the end, the heat packs in the supermarket were sold out, so she had no choice but to go out of the school to buy them. At noon, there were always many students walking around outside the school. Many boys would usually hide outside and smoke at this time. Many people gathered in a small square in front of the school. Unless necessary, Shi Nianj would usually stay in school. She rarely left the school at noon. Just as she was about to go to the supermarket, she passed by a small square with a lot of people in front of her. Suddenly, a puff of smoke was directly sprayed on her face. She turned around and saw that it was a few hooligans from grade 12, class 2. She didn't say anything and just assumed that they didn't mean it. She turned sideways and was about to walk past the small square. Yo, isn't this the medical genius who skipped a grade to grade 12? Someone with a cigarette in his mouth stopped in front of her, blocking her way. Younger than us by a year, right? Little sister, do you want a cigarette? I don't smoke. Move aside. Shi Nianj's expression was cold as she pushed the person in front of her away. Don't be in such a hurry to leave. There's still an hour before class starts. Why are you in such a hurry? The person sprayed another puff of smoke at her face. Brothers, we haven't eaten lunch yet. Do you want to treat us to a meal? This group of people was probably related to Tang Xiao, or the class belle of their class, Suichi. After all, they were in the same class. They had probably heard of something. Although they didn't come to stop her on purpose, it was clear that they wanted to make things difficult for her the moment they saw her. Shi Nianj was unwilling to talk to them. Without saying a word, she turned to leave. However, they had no intention of letting her leave so easily. They suddenly reached out and grabbed her arm. Why are you leaving? We really haven't eaten yet. Let's go together? Previously, when you were with Tang Xiao, weren't you quite polite to our brothers in class too? What happened now? Broke up? You don't even look us in the eye? So Miss Shi is actually so arrogant? Shi Nianj could not take it anymore. She looked impatient. Are you crazy? Fisk, why are you scolding me? It's rare for us to meet Miss Shi. She usually takes out all her money to play games and doesn't have any money to eat. Is she planning to freeload on you? The man chuckled. Besides, I see that you're usually quite impolite to our class Suichi. Why are you pretending to be weak and pitiful? As expected, it had something to do with that bullsh asterisk T class bell. What nonsense was she spouting outside again? She had almost forgotten about this person. How did it become her being impolite to Suichi? Sure, Nianj didn't want to talk to them anymore. She swung her arm. Let go. Seeing that her expression was calm and neither servile nor overbearing. She was not overly angry or afraid. She really did not take them seriously. Originally, they only wanted to scare her as a warning to this spoiled young miss. Of course, they did not dare to do anything else. After all, no one had the guts to go against the famous Sheeta group in High City. Furthermore, they heard that Sure Nianj seemed to be quite close to Almighty Qin recently. If she had any relationship with Almighty Qin, it would be equivalent to having the Qin family behind her. It would be even more difficult to provoke her. Seeing that she was really not affected, the man wanted to spit a mouthful of smoke at her face. This time, Sure Nianj took a step back and dodged. She shook her arm and left. Although she was not affected, her mood was still not good. After going to the supermarket outside the school to buy a heat pack for Zhao Xiaoqing, she placed the heat pack on her table and went to the bathroom to wash her face. After washing a few times, she still felt the smell of smoke on her body. She hated it so much that when she returned to class and sat down, her expression was still not good. It was almost 1 o'clock in the morning. Seeing that she had been sitting there, Zhao Xiaoqing gently poked her and asked, "What's wrong? Are you in a bad mood? Have you eaten?" "No, I'm not hungry," Sure Nianj replied in a low voice. In the end, Qin Sighting, who had just returned, happened to hear this. Qin Sighting stood in the aisle between the tables and chairs in front of her and glanced at her. He did not come over to sit down and turn to leave. 10 minutes later, he returned with a vacuum-packed sandwich cake and a bottle of hot milk. He did not say anything and only placed it on the table in front of her. She looked up and saw it, then turned to look at him. "Eat." He did not say much and only said these 2 words before sitting down. If she did not eat, her stomach would indeed hurt, but she did not want to tell him that she did not eat. She did not expect him to buy some simple food for her when he heard it. Chapter 1499. It was almost time for class, and it was indeed not convenient for her to go out to eat. However, looking at the small cake with a layer of fruit and milk, Sure Nianj's mood, which had been affected by the hooligans from Class 2, finally improved. She ate the cake and drank the milk. She was just full. A piece of cake would not be very full. Her mouth was sweet, and her mood soared. The bell rang. She placed the milk bottle under the table. Seeing that she had finished eating and drinking, Qin Sighting asked her, "What happened at noon?" She thought of the hooligans she had met outside the school and shook her head. "Nothing." Qin Sighting looked at her face. "Unhappy?" "No." Sure Nianj changed the book for this class and smiled at him. "I really didn't." Seeing that she didn't want to say anything, Qin Sighting did not ask further. However, her mood did seem much better than before. Sure Nianj was not a person who liked to get angry. Under normal circumstances, as long as she did not touch her bottom line, even if she was angry, it would only be a matter of a few minutes. She had just eaten the cake and drank the milk. Not long after class, she forgot all about her anger. When she was no longer angry, she recalled Qin Sighting's words in the KTV last night. That's right. She still hadn't asked him what he meant. However, from that day onwards, every time she went out at noon, Qin Sighting, who usually spoke little, would ask, "Where are you going?" When she said that she was going to the school cafeteria with Zhao Xiaoqing, he stood up and let her out. If she said that she wanted to go out to buy something or take a walk with Zhao Xiaoqing, he would throw her a few papers or the questions she had misanswered in the previous mock exam. He did not let her go out and only gave her time to eat in school. He did not give her any chance to leave the school. Once, she had to go out to buy something. Qin Sighting knew that she had to go out and did not stop her. He only said that he was going out too and that it was on the way. As expected, she saw those hooligans outside the school gates. Their gazes shifted in this direction, and when they saw Qin Sighting by her side, they immediately stood obediently in the small square and smoked. None of them dared to come over to cause trouble, and no one said anything. Just like that, he coincidentally accompanied her out a few times. After more than a week, Sure Nianj realized that those people were no longer blocking her outside. This half a month passed in a flash. It was getting closer and closer to the college entrance examination. Sure, Nianj felt a little tired from reviewing the papers every day. On Sunday, she still only had half a day off in the afternoon. She only wanted to go home and sleep. But on Sunday noon, she suddenly died again. As it was almost time for school to end at noon on Sunday, the teacher gave them a list of books and asked them to borrow some books from the provincial library to review. She said that there might be questions in these books that were closer to this year's and previous year's college entrance examinations. Of course, it was just the teacher's intuition telling them what questions would be this year. It was not certain if there would be questions in the future, but since the teacher had already said so, they had to read these books. After all, she had been to the library with Cheen Sighting. She asked him directly, "Are you going in the afternoon?" Cheen Sighting said, "I'm free in the afternoon. I can go take a look." "Then can I go with you?" she asked. Cheen Sighting picked up his shoulder bag. "Let's go." So straightforward. Without another word, Sure Nianj quickly picked up her bag and followed him. 2. Chapter 1500. What about you? Are you sure? Cheen Sighting did not answer, but asked her. Me. I've already confirmed it. Medical University. Anyway, the best medical university in our country is in High City. My grandfather happens to be a guest professor there. I don't have to be too far away from him. I can continue living in High City. Sure Nianj smiled as she spoke. Am I a little too content with the present? Even how Xiosha's target is the various universities in Beijing. Class Monitor and the others are targeting many universities in the country and abroad. I'm the only one who wants to stay in High City to study medicine. Cheen Sighting was silent for a moment. He waved for the waiter to come over and fill the water. Then he suddenly said, "I'm sure too." "Ah, where do you want to go?" Sure Nianj looked at him curiously. In fact, when she asked this, she was smiling on the surface, but her heart was sour. No matter where he chose to go, he would definitely be far away from her. It was really hard to say if she would have the chance to see him in the future. Life was not a television drama. Even if she could give up her dream of studying medicine and her grandfather's expectations for her, because she liked someone, her academic results could not keep up. Even though she had started working hard a long time ago, from the second year of high school to the third year of high school, most of her time was spent on supplementary classes. No matter what, it was impossible for her to catch up to Cheen Sighting's footsteps. Therefore, she was more self-aware. Furthermore, her grandfather had been waiting for her to go to the medical university. She did like this clean young man in front of her, but her grandfather had been waiting for her to grow up and study medicine since she was a few years old. He even said that he wanted to see her become a famous doctor in her lifetime. Although the love of youth was precious, she could not disappoint her grandfather. Therefore, if there was really something that she could not force, she might as well not ask. She did not want to affect others' paths, nor did she want to make things difficult for them. Cheen Sighting's future path would definitely be bright. Perhaps one day, they would meet again. At that time, they would still be sitting in the same restaurant with smiles on their faces. He just didn't know when that day would come in the future and what kind of status they would have at that time. Cheen Sighting did not answer. He only saw that her eyes lit up and dim, as though she wanted to say something but could not. "You will know," was his only answer. Yes, it was useless to know now. Even if she knew, it would only make her realize how far apart she was from him. She would know sooner or later, so what was there to ask now? Sure Nianj quickly got up and went to the buffet area to get other food. Not long after she sat down to eat, her phone suddenly rang. It was her aunt who had just returned from abroad and passed by High City. She still had to go to a city in the north to do something. She said that she had bought some gifts for her to come out and take them. Her aunt's car happened to be nearby. If she went out, she would be back in less than half an hour, so she went straight to her aunt's car. After seeing her aunt handed her a bag. Inside were all kinds of food and toys that little girls liked, especially chocolate. When Sure Nianj was young, she liked to eat chocolate. When she grew up, it was fine. She didn't eat it often. She thanked her aunt and sat together to chat for a while before her aunt drove away because she was in a hurry to catch a plane. On the way back, her phone rang again. He picked it up and saw that it was a call from Cheen Sighting. She quickly picked it up. She felt that when she picked up the phone, Her breathing rate changed. "Hello, Sheen's sighting." Sheen's sighting responded in a low voice. "You're back." In. "I'm already heading back. I'll be there in a few minutes. I have to make you wait for me for a meal." "I'm sorry." Sure Nianj quickly walked back. "All right, be careful." All right. In fact, she couldn't bear to hang up. It turned out that Sheen's sighting's voice came from the phone like this. It was low, very seductive. Sure Nianj ran on the road and jogged back. When she entered the Japanese buffet restaurant, she was still panting. She ran to the table and quickly sat down, placing the small bag filled with food and gifts to the side. "I'm not rushing you. Why are you running?" Seeing that she was panting and her face was red, Sheen's sighting frowned slightly. Sure Nianj chuckled. "I'm hungry. Hurry up and eat. I still have to go to the library later." Sheen, sighting, nodded. "I've eaten." That's right. She had been out for more than half an hour. There were many hot dishes that she could eat immediately. Thankfully, she did not order much earlier. Before she could speak, the waiter brought up the same hot dishes as before. It was obvious that Sheen's sighting had ordered them for her after hanging up. She thanked him and quickly ate, not wasting any more time. After dinner, the two of them went to the provincial library. As expected, they met several classmates from the same world as them. Everyone listened to their teacher and came here to look for books. Although there was more than one revision book, there couldn't be too many. Sure Nianj began to worry. Did we come too late? What if the books teacher Zhao mentioned have already been borrowed? No. Sheen's sighting walked in and headed straight for the bookshelves he had gone to the last time he came. Sure Nianj quickly followed. If he said he wouldn't, then he really wouldn't. In the end, the books that he had read the last time he came were actually one of the books that the teacher had mentioned. He accurately found the position of those books. They were placed at the highest point. Many students didn't see them when they were searching here. Sheen's sighting directly handed them to her. "What about you?" she asked. "I saw it last time. I don't need it." After Sheen's sighting finished speaking, he went to the bookshelf a few rows away. Sure Nianj thought that he was looking for other books, but she saw him pick up a medical book and walk over. He sat on a seat not far away. Seeing the book in his hand, Sure Nianj was surprised. She took her book and walked over. She wanted to ask something, but she felt that he must have found the German doctor's book she had read last time interesting. There was nothing to read now, so he randomly found the same author to write it. Although she had questions, she did not ask. She quietly sat down and began to read and revise. It was already late when she rushed over in the afternoon. After reading for more than 2 hours, it was already evening outside. Sure Nianj's neck hurt from reading. She raised her head and rubbed her nose. Then she narrowed her eyes and smiled at Sheen's sighting, who had also raised his head. Sheen's sighting looked in her eyes and did not speak. After a long time, she realized that he was still reading a medical book. She could not help but ask, "Is the book you're reading interesting?" Chapter 1502. Sheen's sighting glanced at the things on the table. He did not accept them or ask anyone to take them away. He just sat down. Sure Nianj saw that he was in a good mood today. He actually did not return the gifts that those people had placed on his table. She took advantage of the atmosphere of the college entrance examination to sit down and whisper to him, "Almighty Sheen, everyone is giving each other graduation gifts. We've been desk mates for so long. What are you going to give me?" In fact, she was really joking. She was already very happy to be able to see him every day. How could she dare to ask him for a gift? However, Sheen's sighting did not answer immediately. It was raining outside the window. The June rain carried a hint of coolness into the classroom, causing everyone's heart to feel as though it had been cleansed, clean, and clear. "All right, I'm just joking. I'm not thick-skinned enough to ask for a gift. Actually, after graduation, you just need to write me a message. I promise I'll keep it in my photo frame for a lifetime. After the college entrance examination, I'll give you a gift," Sheen's sighting suddenly said, interrupting her. Sure Nianj didn't expect him to really give her a gift. For a moment, she didn't know if she should be ashamed or excited, or both. In any case, when she met Sheen's sighting's gaze, her entire heart floated up and then sank to the bottom. The gift after the college entrance examination was equivalent to the gift before they parted. In the future, would they have a chance to meet again? The day before the college entrance examination, the teacher said that everyone should go home to pack their things and rest for a day. They could revise at home or go out to relax. They would come back the next day to take the college entrance examination. Sure, Nianj did not have the mood to revise at all. When she was free, she would still read those medical books. However, after resting for an entire day, she was actually thinking about whether Qin's sighting planned to revise at home or go out to do something. Thus, after school, on the way back, she followed him and suddenly asked him, "Qin sighting, are you busy tomorrow?" Qin sighting turned to look at her and said, "I'm fine." Her eyes instantly lit up again. After the college entrance examination, we will officially enter the ranks of adults. Tomorrow is the last day of our childhood. Do you want to go to the amusement park? Qin sighting clearly did not understand her reason, but he only raised his brows. Seeing that he did not speak, she said frankly, "I want to go." Hearing these words, Qin sighting smiled lightly. All right. The rest day before the college entrance examination happened to be a weekend. When Sure Nianj went out, she found that there were many people everywhere. She followed Qin's sighting on the bus to the newly opened amusement park in the suburbs. There were always many people in newly opened places, especially those who brought their children there. The two of them sat at the back. She sat inside, and Qin's sighting sat outside. The air conditioner in the car was very comfortable. Sure Nianj suddenly said to Qin's sighting, "Can we change seats?" Qin's sighting looked at her. "What?" "Nothing, I just want to change seats." Qin's sighting did its sighting Qin's sighting and said, "Sighting at." Qin had its sighting at. After Sure Nianj sat outside, she raised her eyes to look at the woman in her 20s who had been standing by the side because there was no seat. She smiled at her kindly. Earlier, because this woman was leaning against Qin's sighting, she had deliberately pushed him down a few times. Although she did not go overboard and only made people feel that the car was too crowded, Qin's sighting simply avoided her. After that, the woman simply placed her hands behind the back of his chair. She felt that she wanted to take advantage of some good-looking young man. Moreover, the woman was holding a cup of milk tea in her hand. Who knew if she would accidentally spill the milk tea on him and then help him wipe his clothes and pants? Before that, she felt that it was better for her to sit outside with the woman. Seeing that she was sitting outside with that good-looking young man, and from the looks of it, they seemed to be in love, the woman's gaze turned awkward. She turned to the side and squeezed to the railing by the side, not continuing to walk in this direction. Sure Nianj retracted her gaze in satisfaction and turned to look at Qin's sighting's understanding expression. "We're almost there." Seeing that she was sparing no effort to protect him, Qin's sighting smiled and nodded. The place they were going to was equivalent to a newly developed tourist attraction in the sea. This place was very big, and there were amusement parks and other places worth visiting and eating. It was said that there was also a large ski resort inside, but it was closed in the summer and could only be opened in the winter. Although Sure Nianj was the young lady of the Sure family, her parents were too busy, and her grandfather was also busy. Uncle Qin and Auntie Xiang also had their own family and children. They were busy at the Sure family during work hours, and when they were free, they would definitely go back to accompany their family. Thus, in fact, she had never been to these amusement parks. Even if she came, she would only stop by. No one had specially stayed to play with her. In her heart, she was actually looking forward to it. There were quite a lot of fun here. She had originally planned to stroll around and go to the amusement park in the afternoon. Otherwise, she would not be in the mood to stroll around after sweating all over. After getting out of the car, she had been holding Qin's sighting's wrist. Qin's sighting did not let go. In fact, when there were too many people, she was almost squeezed to the ground, and he reached out to hug her back. This was the third time she had accidentally bumped into his arms. Sure Nianj was already very calm. Although she was still a little happy, at least her face would not keep heating up. There are really so many people today. The weather is good, and it's a new scenic spot. Many people bring children and the elderly. There's not even a place to sit, Sure Nianj said as she walked in. You don't like crowds? It's not too late to change places, Qin's sighting said. There's no need to change. At most, I'll queue up at every place. It's fine. I can experience it. Niange was still very excited. She then turned back and said, I remember that you don't like places with too many people. Today, I insisted on taking that direct train here. At that time, there were already a lot of people. Now it's crowded. You don't mind, do you? Qin's sighting said, It's fine. I didn't expect there to be so many people. Otherwise, I would have asked Uncle Qin to send us. Niange narrowed her eyes and smiled. But it feels good to squeeze on the bar with you. I wonder if I'll have the chance to experience it together in the future. After saying this, she regretted it. For some reason, she felt a little shameless. What about her purpose of meeting him after graduation? But she did have this plan in the first place. Chapter 1503. In the end, Qin's sighting said, There will be. Niange's heart was filled with joy. Right now, she was in high spirits as she tugged at his wrist and continued walking inside. I heard from the people who came out earlier that there seemed to be a few places to see animals. There are also peacocks. Do you want to go take a look? She turned back and asked. Qin's sighting replied, All right. There were really peacocks and monkey mountains inside. She did not expect there to be pandas. She asked the staff inside and said that because the scenic spot was newly opened, they had invited a few pandas to support the scene. 3 months later, they would be sent back to their original cities. Today was the first day of the pandas' opening, so there were many people. Seeing so many people inside, Niange frowned. She thought for a moment and said, Why don't we come back later? There are too many people here today. She really wanted to see, but she was afraid that Qin's sighting would feel that there were too many people and that he would be impatient. However, Qin's sighting held her hand and led her into the crowd. It's okay. Let's go take a look. Niange was led in by him. From time to time, she would look at the crowd around her and then up at his face. Qin's sighting really did not have any impatience. It was as though he did not have the coldness and indifference that others often mention on his face. At the very least, in front of her, Qin's sighting was no longer as cold as when they first met. Actually, he was very warm. Once again, he brought her to avoid the crowd that was walking anxiously by the side. He held her in his arms and finally walked to the visitation area inside. She could finally see the panda eating bamboo inside. She had been well protected along the way and was not pushed by the crowd. At this moment, the 2 pandas inside suddenly snatched the same bamboo. Everyone was watching and laughing. The children patted the glass of the visitation area and kept laughing and screaming. It was very noisy and lively here. Niange lowered her head and saw that her and Qin's sighting's hands were holding each other's. To be precise, Qin's sighting had been holding her hand. He had been holding her hand. Because the 2 pandas were fighting for the bamboo, their position had moved slightly. The crowd also moved in that direction. Once the crowd moved, they had to move as well. At this moment, Niange did not even know how to move her legs. She only moved her fingers slightly, but Qin's sighting held her hand even tighter. Damn it! What was the point of watching animals play in an amusement park? What if she fainted here? She took 2 deep breaths and tried her best to calm herself down. Her face should not be red right now. She was trying her best to remain calm. But how could Qin's sighting remain so calm? Did he really not have any distracting thoughts? Did he simply not want her to fall and felt that it would be more convenient to walk together like this? Niange let out a long breath. Forget it. She wouldn't think about it anymore. She gently returned his hand. The 2 of them walked hand in hand for a long time until they walked out of the animal exhibition area and headed for the amusement park on the other side. Only then did Niange let go of his hand reluctantly. When she put her hand in her pocket, she felt that her palm was still warm. The main reason was that the space inside was small and there were many people. No one noticed anything when they held hands. Now that they were out, holding hands like this would be too eye-catching. Furthermore, there didn't seem to be any reason to keep holding hands. She actually wanted to hold hands, but she felt that someone like Qin's sighting definitely wouldn't like others to keep looking at him. 2 children ran over crazily. Seeing that they were about to touch Qin's sighting, Niange quickly squatted down to catch them. She blocked them in front of her and rubbed their little heads with a smile. Be careful when you walk. The 2 children glanced at her, grinned, and turned to run away. The tickets to the amusement park were interconnected. They could go to all the places they wanted to go. There were many people outside, and there were many people in the amusement park. However, at least there was a place to sit and rest. The weather was a little hot. There was a dessert and cold drink area in the amusement park. There was an awning below. Sheen's sighting did not say that he was tired, but sure Nianj was really tired and thirsty. She pulled him over to sit down and ordered a fruit smoothie and a small cake to eat. Of course, she ate almost all the cake herself. Sheen's sighting did not eat much of the fruit smoothie. He asked for a bottle of mineral water. From this, sure Nianj silently remembered that Sheen's sighting did not like sweets. Zhao Xiaoqing sent a message asking where she was. Sure Nianj directly replied truthfully. Following that, Zhao Xiaoqing called. "Oh my god, you're at the amusement park with Almighty Qin?" Sure Nianj was silently a little happy. Not only were they at the amusement park, but they had even held hands and walked together for a long time. She smiled and answered, "And are you revising at home?" "I'm not. I'm accompanying my mother out to buy things. If you're at home, I'll go look for you. However, since you're outside with Almighty Qin, I won't be a third wheel. No, you usually sit behind us. There's no difference. We're already used to being together. I don't want to. Watching the two of you show off your love, I'll die of jealousy. I'll accompany my mother to buy things first. All the best for tomorrow's college entrance examination. All the best tomorrow." After hanging up the phone, sure Nianj looked up at the person sitting opposite her. Qin sighting was also looking at her. She didn't press the speakerphone button, did she? You probably didn't hear what Zhao Xiaoqing said about being a third wheel, right? "Why aren't you eating?" he asked. Sure Nianj glanced at the fruit smoothie on the table. "This portion is too much. I was hot and thirsty earlier, but I can't finish so much. It's too cold. It's fine if I eat a few bites. If I eat more, my stomach will hurt." "And then don't eat." Qin's sighting asked again. "What's the matter?" He was probably referring to the phone call she had just received. Thus, he probably didn't hear what Zhao Xiaoqing said on the phone. She also said that if I really can't perform well, I have to find another way out. I asked her if she wanted to study medicine, but she said that she would be so scared that she wouldn't be able to sleep well at night when she saw a replica of a human skeleton. She felt that she might not be able to enter the medical industry, so I didn't continue talking to her about this topic. Anyway, being a doctor is indeed very tiring. Indeed, not everyone likes this profession. Qin's sighting's expression was indifferent, and he did not say anything. "Let's go. We haven't played any of the tickets to the amusement park in the afternoon." Sure Nianj was cool now and no longer thirsty. She stood up. She asked again, "What do you like to play?" Qin's sighting said, "I've never been here before. I'm just taking a look. You decide." Everyone, try and see if you can comment. A few days ago, the comment section was under maintenance. No one could leave comments. Qing felt that she was playing alone. She was so lonely that you're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.